Welcome back to our YouTube channel Aman Codes. In today's episode, we are going to discuss about list data type predefined function called copy of. See syntax: list object 2 is equals to list object 1 dot copy of, right? So this function is used to copy the content from list obj1 to list obj2. So from list object 1 to list object 2, we can copy the information. In the sense, we can copy the list. So in copy, we have two types. First one is a shallow copy and second is a deep copy. So let's see what is shallow copy. The initial output is the same for both the list object 1 and list object 2. So if we do shallow copy, the list object 1 data has been copied to list object 2 data. Then the initial output of list obj1 and list obj2 both are same. So if we update list object 1, then it is not going to reflect on list obj2. In the sense, if we are adding a value to list object 1, then it is not going to reflect on list object 2. So this is the main important point. So the memory address of list object 1 and list object 2 are not same. In the sense, the list object 1 and this list object 2 contains different memory addresses. So this is about shallow copy. Let's see about deep copy. So both the list objects has same initial output. So if we update list object 1, then it is going to reflect on list object 2. In the sense, if we add any element to list object 1, then list object 2 also getting reflected, in the sense getting changed. So the memory address of both the list object 1 and list object 2 are same. This is about deep copy. In order to implement a deep copy, we are using assignment operator. Now let's see this on practical way. I'm opening Python command prompt. See here. Now I'm declaring one list. See, this is my LST, right? So now I'm trying to print LST and its type of. See here. So this is my list, right? So which comes under list class. Let's see how shallow copy has implemented. So now I'm taking an list object. So now I'm taking a list object called lst1 is equals to lst dot copy of. So wherever this copy of function is came, 99% it is going to implement shallow copy. Remaining 1% it is going to implement a deep copy. Where it implements deep copy, in the sense, in frozen set. So we have data type called frozen set, right? So in frozen set data type, we have predefined functions. In that we have same copy of predefined functions. It is going to declare like this only, but it is going to implement a deep copy, not this shallow copy. So that 1% is going to implement a deep copy in frozen set. LST1, enter. See, the initial information of the two lists are same. Now I'm appending codes to LST. So when I access this LST, the codes has been appended, right? So if we access LST1, then there is no codes, right? So if we modify the list object 1, then it should not reflect on list object 2, right? So this is an important thing in shallow copy. Now I'm going to print the memory address of two lists. One is LST, right? Another is LST1, right? So it has different memory addresses. See here, see 6656, here 6528. Both are different addresses. So the two list objects are present in different memory address in shallow copy. So let's see how the deep copy will going to be work. So this is my LST. Now I'm going to declare this LST2 is equals to. So by using this assignment operator, we are going to implement a deep copy. See here. Now I'm going to print LST2. So the initial information of LST1 and LST2 are same. So the memory address of LST and LST2 are same. See here, 46656, 46656, right? So the third important point is the memory address of both lists are same. Now I'm going to retrieve LST1 and LST2. See here, I have appended 78 on LST, right? So LST is appended. See here, 78 has been appended in LST1 and it has so reflected in LST2. So I have added MC Karthi in LST2. So MC Karthi has appended on LST2 and it also reflected in LST1, right? So whenever we modify an list, then it is automatically going to reflect on another list also in deep copy only. So this is about deep copy. So next predefined function on list data type is index of. Let's see the syntax. List object dot index of value. So in order to give an index for first occurrence of a specified value, we are going to use this index of function. If the specified value does not exist in list object, then we get a value error. So let's see this one. So my list is here LST. Now I'm trying to implement index of LST dot index of. Now I'm going to give here GVR. See here. So here 10 has index 0, GVR has index 1, right? So the index of GVR is 1, right? Now next I'm going to give here MC Karthi. See here, the index value of MC Karthi is 7. So now I'm declaring a value called 900. This value is not available in our LST. Then it is going to throw an error called value error. See here, value error, right? List dot index of x. X is not in list. Means here x is 900. This 900 is not in list. So that is a use of index of function. In index of function, the important point is enumerate of. So this enumerate function is going to used for obtaining indices and values for corresponding iterable objects. For an iterable objects, in order to obtain indices and values, then we are going to use enumerate function. So if we use enumerate function, we can easily obtain the indices and values for corresponding iterable objects. So by using three syntaxes, we can access these indices and values of corresponding iterable objects. Let's see with first syntax. So for val in enumerate of iterable object, print val. Let's see the syntax number one. So I'm going to use here clear. So this is my list. See here. Now I'm going to print the indices values of this list. So for now I'm using for loop for val in enumerate. So iterable object is our list, right? List object I'm declaring here. So see here, print of val. See here, for val in enumerate of iterable object is LST. So print value. So whenever we call this enumerate, then internally it is going to take this list as like this. See here, it is going to create like this in memory space. See, it is going to retrieve an indexes and value. So it is going to arrange like this. Next, indices 1. So index 1. Next is GVR. So next, index 2. So on. Then at last indices. So here 7, comma MC Karthik. So see here, whenever we going to use enumerate function, then it is going to create internally like this. See here, so this is val. So val itself contains the indices, right? So this is a zeroth index and this is first index. See here. So indices of list elements are present in left side and elements are present here, right? So this table is comes under val. So for this table, we are going to take these indices 0 and 1. So whenever we call this enumerate function of iterable object, this list is going to be converted like this. See here. with index and value. So index and value, like this table has been created, and this table itself has two values only, right? One is index and another is value, right? So for all indices the index is 0, for all values the index is 1. So here I have declared print of value, right? So if we are going to print this value, it is going to print first one and then next second, third, up to 7 it is going to print like this. See here, 0 to 7, right? So if I declared here these indices values, like value of 0 index implies value of first index. So the output is the same. Let's see this one, right? So in the place of value, I'm going to declare the indices of that value. See here, I'm using the same for loop and same iterable object, but in the place of printing directly value, so I'm going to print the index of that value 0 and 1. So let's see what is going to be happen, right? So it has printed 0th index, 10th element, one index GVR. So it has removed these brackets, right? So the output is the same. So now what I said, that is the second syntax. See here, value of 0 and value of 1, right? So this is the second syntax for enumerate of function. So we will go with directly third syntax. So apart from this table and all, so 1 minute. So in the place of taking one variable, I am taking two variable called I comma v, index comma value in enumerate of list. Then I'm going to print this index comma here, see here, comma value. So let's see, the same answer is came, right? So the output of these three syntaxes are same. So in order to retrieve the indices and values of list object, then we are going to use enumerate list. So by using syntax number 1, we can retrieve. By using syntax number 2, we can retrieve. By using syntax number 3, we can retrieve the indices and values of respective list. So this is about enumerate function. So the next predefined function on list data type is count of. So see here, list object dot count of value. This function is used for finding the number of occurrences. So the number of occurrences is known as frequency, right? So in order to find the frequency or a number of occurrences of a specified value, then we have to use this count of function. What is the purpose of count of function? In the sense, in order to find the frequency of a specified value, right? So what is meant by frequency? In the sense, number of occurrence of that value is known as frequency. If specified value does not exist, then we get the result as 0. The element has 0 occurrence in our list. So let's see this in practical way. So see here, this is my LST. Now I'm going to use this count of function, LST dot count of value I have to enter. I entered the value called 10. So the 10 occurred two times, right? So the count of 10 is 2, right? Let's see this. 2 has been retrieved, right? One time only the value 30 has occurred. Now I'm trying to retrieve the count of 0. Next, I'm going to count the value called 890. See here, the count of 890 is 0. Why 0? It does not occurred here, right? In our list, there is no value called 890. So that is the reason the occurrence of 890 in our list is 0. So not only like this, we can use another way by using the count of. So I have declared a string S called Mississippi. Now, in order to find how many I's are there, how many S's are there, how many M's are there, how many P's are there, then I'm going to use this count of function. Let's see. S dot count of M. The M occurred one time only. See here, one time only M occurred, right? So now I'm going to count the occurrence of I. So the I occurred four times, right? See, I has occurred in our string four times. Going to retrieve the occurrence of P. See here, P have occurred two times in our string, right? So that's all for today's video. I hope you all understand. Don't forget to do like, share and subscribe to Aman Codes. Thank you so much for watching.